ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरिः ओम। जय श्री गुरुदेव, जय श्री प्रभुपाद। वी रीडिंग फ्रॉम शरणागति चैप्टर सॉन्ग नंबर 5 फ्रॉम Denya. It's a beautiful song, I think. I don't know how to sing this. सुनो मोर दुखेर कहानी, प्रभु हे सुनो मोर दुखेर कहानी, कहीनी सॉरी, दुखेर कहीनी, विषया हला हला, शब्द भाने पिर्युला, अब अवशन दीनामणि. Here, O Lord, my story of sadness. I drank the deadly poison of worldliness, pretending it was nectar, and now the sun is setting on the horizon of my life. I spent my childhood in play, my youth in academic pursuit, and in me there were no sense of right and wrong. In young manhood, I set up a household and settled down to spell of material enjoyment. Children and friends quickly multiplied. Soon old age arrived, and all happiness departed. Subjected to disease, troubled and weak, all my senses are feeble now. My body racked and exhausted, and my spirits downcast in the absence of youthful pleasures. Devoid of even a particle of devotion, lacking any enlightenment. What help is there for me now? Only you, O Lord, friend of the fallen. I am certainly fallen, the lowest of men. Please, therefore, lift me to your lotus feet. Were you to judge me now, you would find no good qualities. Have mercy and judge me not. Cause me to drink the honey of your lotus feet and thereby deliver this bhakti vinod. विचारी ते अभी गुण नहीं पाओ भी, कृपा करो छाड़ा तो विचार. तव पाद पंकज सिधु पीबा तो, भक्ति विनोद करो पार. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया, भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Reading from Canto 1, chapter 19, text 15. O Brahmanas, just accept me as completely surrendered soul, and let Mother Ganga, the representative of Lord, also accept me in that way. I have already taken the lotus feet of the Lord into my heart. Let the snake, bird, or whatever magical thing the Brahmana created bite me at once. I only desired that you continue singing the deeds of Lord Vishnu. Very beautiful and amazing shloka. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As soon as one is given up completely onto the lotus feet of Lord Supreme Lord, he is not at all afraid of death. The atmosphere created by the presence of all of great devotees of the Lord on the bank of Ganga and Maharaj Parikshit complete acceptance of the Lord's lotus feet were sufficiently guaranteed to the king for going back to Godhead. He thus became absolutely free from all fear of death. Again, offering obeisances unto all Brahmanas, I pray that if I should again take my birth in the material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relation with all living beings. Srila Prabhupada's purport. That a devotee of the Lord is the only perfect living being is explained herein by Maharaj Parikshit. A devotee of the Lord is no one's enemy. Although there may be many enemies of a devotee of the Lord does not like to associate with non-devotees, although he has no enmity with them. So a devotee does not like to associate with no non-devotees, but he has no enmity towards them. Let's see what the word enmity means actually clearly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Feeling of hatred towards an enemy. That's enmity. He desires association with the devotees of the Lord. This is perfectly natural because birds of the same feather mix together. Birds of the same feather mix together. And the most important function of devotee is to have complete attachment for Lord Krishna, the Father of all living beings. As a good son of the Father behaves in the friendly way with all his other brothers, so also the devotees of the Lord, being the good son of the Supreme Father, Lord Krishna, sees all other living beings in relation with the Supreme Father. He tries to bring back the upstart sons of the Father to Sena stage and to get them to accept the Supreme Fatherhood of the God. Maharaj Parikshit was certainly going back to Godhead, but even if he were not to go back, he prayed for a pattern of life which is the most perfect way in the material world. A pure devotee does not desire the company of the person. A pure devotee does not desire the company of a personality as great as Lord Brahma, but he prefers the association of a petty living being provided he is a devotee of the Lord. It's not that Lord Brahma is not a devotee, it's just an example it has been given here. That koi kitna bhi bada ho, like whoever is as big as they can be, but still it's better to take association of a devotee. In perfect self-control, Maharaj Parikshit sat down on a seat of straw with straw roots facing the east, placed on the southern bank of the Ganga, and he himself faced the north. Just previously he had given charge of his kingdom over to his son, Shivapat's puppet. The river Ganga is celebrated as the wife of the Shesh. The river Ganga is celebrated as the wife of the sea. Okay. The seat of Kusha straw is considered to be sanctified if the straw is taken out of the earth completely with root, and if the root is pointed toward the east, it is considered to be auspicious. Facing the north is still more favorable for attaining spiritual success. Okay. Didn't know that. Maharaj Parikshit handed over the charge of administration to his son before leaving home. He was thus fully equipped with all favorable conditions. Text 18. Thus the king, Maharaj Parikshit, sat to fast until death. All the demigods of higher planets praised the king's actions and in pleasure continually scattered flowers over the earth and beat celestial drums. Okay. Srila Prabhupada's puppet. Even up to the time of Maharaj Parikshit, there were interplanetary communications, and the news of the Maharaj Parikshit fasting on today, attaining salvation, reached the higher planets in the sky where the intelligent demigods live. The demigods are more luxurious than human beings, but all of them are obedient to the orders of Supreme Lord. There is no one in the heavenly planets who is an atheist or non-believer. Thus any devotee of the Lord on the surface of earth is always praised by them. And in the case of Maharaj Parikshit, they were greatly delighted and thus gave tokens of honor by scattering flowers over the earth and by beating celestial drums. A demigod takes pleasure in seeing someone go back to Godhead. He is always pleased with devotee of the Lord, so much so that by his Adidaivic powers he may help the devotee in all respects, and by their actions the Lord is pleased with them. There is an invisible chain of complete cooperation between the Lord, the demigods, and the devotees of the Lord on earth. Text 19. All the great sages who were assembled there also praised the decision of Maharaj Parikshit, and they expressed their approval by saying, "Very good." Praising, okay. Sadhu, sadhu, okay. Russia, sadhu iti, okay. Sadhu is very good. Sadhu, sadhu. Naturally, the sages were inclined to do good to common men, for they have all qualitative powers of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they were very much pleased to see Maharaj Parikshit, a devotee of the Lord, and they spoke as follows. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The natural beauty of a living being is enhanced by rising up to the platform of devotional service. Maharaj Parikshit was absorbed in attachment of Lord Shri Krishna. Seeing this, the great sages assembled were very much pleased, and they expressed their approval by saying, "Very good. Such sages are naturally inclined to do good to common men, and when they see a personality like Maharaj Parikshit advance in devotional service, their pleasure knows no bounds." Okay. Sorry, I have to read this again. I don't understand properly. Seeing this, great sages assembled very pleased and expressed saying very good. Such sages are naturally inclined to do good to common men, and when they see a personality like Maharaj Parikshit advance in devotional service, their pleasure knows no bounds, and they offer all blessings in their power. The devotional service of the Lord is so auspicious that all demigod sages up to Lord himself become pleased with the devotee, and therefore the devotee finds everything auspicious. All inauspicious matters are removed from the path of progressive devotee. Meeting the great sages at the time of death was certainly auspicious for Maharaj Parikshit, and thus he was blessed by the so-called curse of the Brahmana boy. Thus the sages said, "O chief of all the saintly kings of the Pandu dynasty, who was strictly in the line of Lord Krishna, it is not at all astonishing that you give up your throne, which is decorated with the helmets of many kings, to achieve eternal association with personality of Godhead." Srila Prabhupada's purport. Foolish politicians who hold political administrative posts think that the temporary posts they occupy are the highest material gain of life, and therefore they stick to those posts even up to the last moment of life without knowing that achievement of liberation is one of the associates of the Lord in his eternal abode is the highest gain of life. The human life is meant for achieving this end. The Lord has assured us in the Bhagavad Gita many times that going back to Godhead, the eternal abode, is the highest achievement. Prahlad Maharaj, while praying to Lord Narasimha, said, "O my Lord, I am very much afraid of the materialistic way of life, and I am not at least afraid of your present ghastly ferocious feature as Lord Narasimha Dev. This materialistic way of life is something like a grinding stone, and we are being crushed by it. We have fallen into the horrible whirlpool of the tossing waves of life, and thus, my Lord, I pray at your lotus feet to call me back to your eternal abode as one of your servitors." This is the summit liberation of this materialistic way of life. I have a bitter experience of materialistic way of life. In whichever species of life I have taken birth, I have very bitter experience of materialistic way of life. In whichever species of life I have taken birth, sorry, I reread this line. In whichever species of life I have taken birth, compelled by the force of my own activities, I have very painfully experienced two things, namely separation from my beloved and meeting with what is not wanted. And to counteract them, the remedies which I undertook were more dangerous than the disease itself. So I drift from one point to another, birth after birth, and I pray to you, therefore, to give me shelter at your lotus feet. The Pandava kings, who are more than many saints of the world, knew the bitter results of the materialistic way of life. They were never capsized by the glare of the imperial throne they occupied, and they sought always the opportunity of being called by the Lord to associate with him eternally. Maharaj Parikshit was the worthy grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthir. Maharaj Yudhishthir gave up the imperial throne to his grandsons, and similarly Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthir, gave up the imperial throne to his son Janmejaya. That is the way of all kings in the dynasty, because they are all strictly in the line of Lord Krishna. Thus the devotee of the Lord are never enchanted by the glare of materialistic life, and they live impartially, unattached to the objects of false, illusory, materialistic way of life. Text 21. We shall wait here until the foremost devotee of the Lord, Maharaj Parikshit, returns to the supreme planet, which is completely free from all mundane contamination and all kinds of lamentation. 1 second. Okay. So we are at Srila Prabhupada's purport. Beyond the limitation of the material creation, which is compared to the cloud in the sky, there is the Paramvyom, or the spiritual sky, full of planets called Vaikunthas. Such Vaikunthas are also differently known as Purushottama Loka, Achyuta Loka, Trivikrama Loka, Rishikesha Loka, Keshava Loka, Aniruddha Loka, Madhava Loka, Pradyumana Loka, Sankarshana Loka, Sridhara Loka, Vasudev Loka, Ayodhya Loka, Dwarka Loka, and many other millions of spiritual lokas wherein personality of Godhead predominates. All the living entities, there are liberated souls and spiritual bodies as good as the Lord. Wow, amazing. So many names you find got to know today of these lokas. Aniruddha Loka, Keshava, Rishikesha, Trivikrama. There is no material contamination, everything there is spiritual, and therefore there is nothing objectively lamentable. They are full of transcendental bliss and are without birth, death, old age, and disease. And amongst all the above mentioned Vaikuntha Lokas, there is the one supreme Loka called Goloka Vrindavan, which is the abode of Lord Shri Krishna and his specific associates. Maharaj Parikshit was destined to achieve the particular Loka, and the great rishis assembled there could foresee this. All of them consulted among themselves about the great departure of the great king, and they wanted to see him up to the last moment, because they would no more be able to see such a great devotee of the Lord. When a great devotee of the Lord passes away, there is nothing to be lamented, because devotee is destined to enter into the kingdom of God. But the sorry plight is that such great devotees leave our sight, and therefore there is every reason to be sorry. Prabhupada is saying no reason to be lamented, but there is every reason to be sorry. As the Lord is rarely to be seen by our present eyes, so also are great devotees. Wow. The great rishis therefore correctly decided to remain on the spot till the last moment. Text 22. All that was spoken by the great sages was very sweet to hear, full of meaning and appropriately presented as perfectly true. So after hearing them, Maharaj Parikshit, desiring to hear the activities of Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, congratulated the sages. The king said, "O great sages, you have all very kindly assembled here, having come from all parts of the universe. You are all as good as supreme knowledge personified, who resides in the planet above the three worlds, Satyaloka. Consequently, you are naturally inclined to do good to others, but for this you have no interest either in this life or in the next." Srila Prabhupada said, 6 kinds of opulences, namely wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, renunciation, are all originally the different attributes pertaining to the absolute personality of Godhead. The living beings, who are part and parcel entities of Supreme Being, have all these attributes partially up to the full strength of 78%. Okay. In the material world, these attributes up to the 78% of the Lord's attributes are covered by the material energy, as the sun is covered by the cloud. The cloud strength of the sun is very dim. The covered strength of the sun is very dim compared to the original clear, and similarly the original color of the living beings with such attributes becomes almost extinct. There are 3 planetary systems, namely lower worlds, the intermediates, and the upper. The human beings on the earth are situated at the beginning of the intermediate worlds, but living beings like Lord Brahma and his contemporaries live in the upper worlds, of which the topmost is Satyaloka. In Satyaloka, the inhabitants are fully cognizant of Vedic wisdom, and thus the mystic cloud of material energy is cleared. Therefore, they are known as the Vedas personified. Such persons, being fully aware of knowledge, both mundane and transcendental, have no interest in either the mundane or transcendental worlds. They are practically desireless devotees. In the mundane world, they have nothing to achieve. and in the transcendental world they are full in themselves. Then why do they come to the mundane world? They descend to different planets as messiahs by the order of the Lord to deliver the fallen souls. On the earth, they come down and do good to the people of the world in different circumstances under different climatic influences. They have nothing to do in the world save and except reclaim. They have nothing to do in this world save and except reclaim the fallen souls routing in material existence, deluded by material energy. Text 24. O trustworthy Brahmanas, I now ask you about my intermediate duty. Please, after proper deliberation, tell me the unalloyed duty of everyone in all circumstances, and specifically of those who are just about to die. Srila Prabhupada's Prabhupada. In this verse, the king had placed two questions before the learned sages. The first question is that the duty of everyone in all circumstances, and the second question is what is the specific duty of one who is to die very shortly. Out of these two, the questions relating to the dying man is most important because everyone is a dying man, either very shortly or after 100 years. The duration of life is immaterial, but the duty of a dying man is very important. Maharaj Parikshit placed these two questions before Srila Shukdev Goswami also on his arrival, and practically the whole of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam beginning from the second canto up to the last 12th canto deals with these two questions. The conclusion arrives at thereof is that devotional service of the Lord Shri Krishna, as it is confirmed by the Lord himself in the last phases of the Bhagavad Gita, is the last word in relation to everyone's permanent duty in life. Maharaj Parikshit was already aware of this fact, but he wanted the great sages assembled there to unanonymously give their verdict on his conviction, so that he might be able to go on with his confirmed duty without controversy. He especially mentioned the words Shuddha, or perfectly correct. For transcendental realization or self-realization, many processes are recommended by various classes of philosophers. Some of them are first class methods and some of them are second or third class. The first class methods demands that one give up all other methods and surrender onto the lotus feet of the Lord, and thus be saved from all sins and their reactions. Text 25. At that moment appeared the powerful son of Vyasadeva, who travelled over the earth disinterested and satisfied within himself. He did not manifest any symptoms of belonging to any social order or status of life. He was surrounded with women and children, and he dressed as if others had neglected him. Jai Ho Srila Shukdev Goswami ki Jai. Jai Srila Shukdev Goswami has appeared in the scene now. Now Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam starts. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The word Bhagavan is sometimes used in relation with some of the great devotees of Lord like Shukdeva Goswami. Let's see the verse also. Tathar bhavat tatra bhavat Bhagavan Vyasaputro Yadachraya Kam Atmano Anapeksha Alakshya Lingo Nija Labh Tushto Vartas Chabalir Avadhutavesh. The word Bhagavan is sometimes used in relation with some great devotees of Lord like Srila Shukdev Goswami. Such liberated souls are disinterested in the affairs of the material world because they are self-satisfied by the great achievements of devotional service. As explained before, Srila Shukdev Goswami never accepted any formal spiritual master, nor did he undergo any formal reformatory performances. His father Vyasadeva was his natural spiritual master because Srila Shukdev Goswami heard Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from him. After this, he became completely self-satisfied. Thus, he was not dependent on any formal process. The formal process are necessary for those who are expected to reach the stage of complete liberation. But the Srila Shukdev Goswami was already in that status by the grace of his father. As a young boy, he was expected to be properly dressed, but he went about naked and was uninterested in social customs. He was neglected by the general population, and inquisitive boys and women surrounded him as if he were a madman. He thus appears on the scene while travelling on the earth of his own accord. It appears that upon the inquiry of Maharaj Parikshit, the great sages were not unanimous in their decision as to what was to be done. For spiritual salvation, there were many prescriptions according to the different modes of different persons, but the ultimate aim of life is to attain the highest perfection stage of devotional service to the Lord. As doctors differ, so also sages differ in their different prescriptions. While such things were going on, the great and powerful son of Vyasadeva appeared on the scene. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Gurudev, Jai Srila Shukdev Goswami ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Now we will read, tomorrow we will read about the glorious son of Srila Vyasadeva, Srila Shukdev Goswami. Really like this part. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Gurudev. I have to run to work now. Thank you everyone. Hare